This is a refurbished Creality K2 Plus I got from eBay for $700. MSRP is $1,500, more than double what I paid. Although always on sale for $1,200, don't pay more than that. As you may know, I am fed up with my Cobra 3 Max, so this is my attempt to get a large format printer upgrading to Core XY that can do engineering materials. I'm giving up a little bit of room at 350 millimeters cubed instead of 420 by 500, but I hope I get some reliability out of this too. If you're observant, you may already realize what my first issue with this was, but it doesn't prevent me from printing PLA or PETG, and I do have an open case with Creality support that we're gonna go over at the end of the video. All right, so as usual, we're gonna unbox this, talk about its features, run some test prints, both color and speed prints, and let's see if $700 is the deal I hope it is. If you need large prints but need a printer even larger than this, then head over to PCBWay. With print capabilities up to 2 meters wide, you wouldn't have to cut up your model and glue it together. Upload your STL, you can save more money by ordering higher quantities, but you can order as low as 1, unlike many big name suppliers. 3D printing isn't the only service. Check out CNC machining, custom PCBs, and PCB assembly. Use my link in the description below for $5 off your first order. The heavy lift sticker is no joke at 54 kilograms or 120 pounds. This was the first printer I legitimately needed help getting up on the table and used a dolly to get it down here into my basement. It was well packaged though, with lots of padding on each side, cardboard protectors on the corners, lots of foam, and while I'll complain about all the screws inside, I do understand how important they are too. I found the top glass and a cardboard sleeve on the side, meaning the insides are already accessible. I didn't know it yet, but it's weird the tape on the front door was already cut at the door edges, so they provided no support during shipping. Let's lighten this load by removing the innards, some tools, parts will install soon, the manual, 4 1 kilogram samples, red, white, blue, and black, and the CFS that we'll need to access the front first. And here comes the door. The UV glue holding the glass to the hinge broke off, so I can't fix that. I immediately reached out to Creality, expecting typical SLAs of 6 to 8 weeks, but after telling them via chat and a few pictures, they shipped out a replacement glass without any questions. It did take a minute to get here, at about a week from Texas to Ohio, but that did include New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and a weekend, so yeah, that's fine. The CFS again had a bunch of screws at the top and bottom, but easily removed, and a few more screws to unsecure the bed. This thing was still a chunk, and with the CFS removed at 33 kilograms or 70 pounds. There are paper stickers in there which leave residue, which sucks if you spent the $1,500 on this, but I didn't, and I honestly don't care regardless. It came with a Creality filament system, or CFS, and I managed to get another from my favorite Amazon return auction for $150. Worked fine, although it didn't come with cables, but that's the risk you take. We'll get to my test print for this, but I've noticed these CFSs don't have any heating since it only pulls 20 watts through the cable connected to the printer, unlike the Anycubic Aces that have dryer support but also require their own plug. It's winter, and these are sealed and in a room with my HVAC and a dehumidifier, so it'll be good until summer. Anti-moisture is only supported with those desiccant packets. The slides to open are a pain when you have these next to each other like I do, so keep in mind that you'll want at least an inch on each side. Creality claims this is compatible with all rigid filaments like PLA, PETG, and filaments with fibers. While not on the spec sheet, the marketing says PVA2, which is water soluble. Apparently flexible filaments like TPU are not supported, so keep that external spool handy. Like bamboo, they also don't recommend cardboard spools, and while I've successfully used cardboard in all my material systems, you can also print reusable spool liners if it's an issue for you. If you're going to add more CFSs, then you need to daisy chain them with the first and last CFS, both connected to the printer. The printer includes a multicolored test benchy, so that's what we're going to use first. It turned out to be kind of a simple benchy as expected, but the color change was just different layers for a quarter of the print. Kind of lame test print and hides just how much this printer purges. Seriously, there is so much purge. The nozzle is extra long, so the cutter is pretty high, meaning there will be more purge since there is more material in the nozzle. I watched it though, and the new color came through after the first purge and wipe, then I went on to do it 4 more times. I wasn't able to fix this by adjusting purge volumes, like there's a hard minimum somewhere in the slicer or the firmware. I legitimately do not know. The purge also fails to fall through the chute and out. It can get stuck on my 3D printed chute, but that isn't the fault of the printer, but it also commonly stays in the printer. Then I have to poke at it to get it to fall out. I haven't had a failed print yet, but if I stop poking at it, it's bound to fail soon enough. There have been plenty of times where it's bunching all the way up to the nozzle for a potential clog. I discovered there are some bent pieces in there that need to be fixed or lubed, so I ordered a replacement instead of waiting for a warranty part. I can keep poking at it until it comes, but this is how I received it and how you might receive it. To continue multicolor testing, I'm a kindergarten Lion-Den Cub Scout leader, so we wanted some symbols that the kids could line up at, and this was another perfect test. Just a few layers of color, but again, I had to keep cleaning the purge chute with way more total purge than I'd like to see. The final spot for this printer will be up against a wall, so if I can find a concrete solution for this, I'll be sharing it, so like and subscribe. These turned out pretty well, except for some bleed through of the colors. I don't know why, and I'm leaning towards the design and my fault rather than the printer. It's doing what it's told. Finally, it's almost Valentine's Day as of filming, so I found a model of the objectively best Pokemon, but Bulbasaur has a rose, which is, I think it's super cute. I'll be sharing this with one of my kids, but the slicer's progress bar was estimated to be a 6-hour print. Initial estimate ended up being about 18 hours, even though some addition here says 22 hours. Also, in this picture, it's on layer 273 out of 253 layers. I legitimately, again, have no idea. It turned out fine. I had no issues with the 2 CFSs swapping filaments. Just don't trust the estimates. One of my favorite tests is how much free performance I can get by selecting the provided overclock in the slicer. This is also useful comparing out-of-the-box speed against other printers, like some printers may have the fastest overclock, but the slowest base speed. A faster base speed with a disappointing overclock could still be faster. The K2 Plus printed my detailed benchy in almost 28 minutes, while out-of-the-box 25% faster slider did it in just over 26 minutes for an actual increase of only 6.5%. At 100% speed, this places the K2 Plus in first place, the fastest printer base speed among the printers I've tested. The Cube at 100% speed finished in 14 minutes and 49 seconds, while increasing the speed to 125%, resulting in a 17% faster time at 12 minutes and 39 seconds. This base speed places it in the middle of the pack at 4th place. However, it's much closer to the first place time of 11 minutes 39 seconds by the P1S than it is last place by the Cobra 3 Max at 22 minutes and 24 seconds. So I'll take it. I want to start testing some engineering materials, but it's not really recommended to use the 0.4 nozzle with fibers, even if it says it's supported. Replacing the nozzle was super easy, and you can really see how long it is going back to our purge issue. Removing the front cover that's just held on magnetically, although you'll have to give it a little shimmy because of the cable chain. Slide down the silicone sock that insulates the heater, finally unscrew the nozzle using the wrench in your toolkit, but there are quite a lot of threads, so keep at it. It's recommended you apply thermal grease, which came in the toolkit, but it seems like any other PC thermal compound would work. Screw in the new nozzle, add the silicone sock, put the cover on, remember to change the nozzle in the slicer as well. Something I'm struggling with and have a video waiting for me to actually finish is a winch plate for my ATV that is so old I can't buy one. It's been designed and printed in PLA and PETG, but when trying PETCF on my Cobra 3 Max, it has always failed due to warping as it pulls away from the build plate because I don't have an enclosure. I was excited to try it here, and in fact it was the whole point of buying the K2 Plus because my design is 340 millimeters wide. That doesn't really fit on the H2S I wanted because it's the exact same width. It only works on the H2D with some dual nozzle shenanigans and an extra seam down the middle. Started great with some boogers I can reach in there and flick off. Printing improved when I got to infill and the imperfections could be absorbed into the empty space. Then we got to the top layers and it started to warp where it pulled the build plate away from the heating element underneath. Likely due to the warping, the boogers got real bad and it was destined to fail anyway, so at 90% I stopped it, and we're going to revisit in PETG CF. What I have is a featherweight Bear Tracker 250, so I shouldn't need the strongest plastic in the world. In fact, I have a PETG version on there already. So that PETG CF didn't warp, but it did have some ugly layers and again boogers. About halfway through, I realized you can access the K2's web interface to actually fine-tune our settings, and it was buried in the printer's touchpad too, but you can't do anything from the slicer. My layers looked great until I went to bed and my second roll was tangled from the factory. The K2 apparently doesn't have a tangle sensor, and it began air printing. So I got one more roll, 3 kilograms of PET CF17 from Polymaker, and we're going to do it again. What I changed was I changed the extrusion rate to 90% instead of the 95 or 100% it defaults to, and honestly, it looks amazing. I have 2 feet of snow at the moment, so I'll put this to the test another time. Trust me, this is my excited voice. I can now print with specialty materials that require a heated chamber. I have since sold my Cobra 3 Max, so I'm all in on using the K2 Plus for larger prints. And honestly, I'm feeling good about that. I think I've had 4 prints I've needed the larger volume for, but it's enough to have a permanent spot for at least one printer of this size. As you can see in my handy dandy new chart, inspired by Project Farm, it's the largest Core XY printer I've had my hands on. Also remember, this was refurbished, so I didn't even pay yesterday's sale price of $1,200 or today's sale price of $1,300. Less than $800 with eBay coupons if you're patient. 16 materials, fastest base print times, heated chamber, same power budget as printers without a heater. I'm honestly really happy with this, unlike my K1 SE refurbished review, which was still okay. I just won't be using it for multicolor prints unless I have to until I can figure out that purging. But check out my Snapmaker U1 review for why the bar is set so high for me for multicolor prints now. It's amazing. Let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see in this spreadsheet. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.